think you mentioned that last time. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the LAN Party Podcast. Today is Tuesday. October 23rd.
It's a big day. It's Tuesday. It's October 23rd. Today's October 23rd. Isn't that the day the Fallout 4 beta goes live? Isn't that today? Or is that tomorrow?
Yes.
I don't know.
Thought it was today.
Yeah, I think we get it on the 3rd. We get it on...
No.
No.
You get it on whatever.
I get it on the 30th. Wait. Nate, did you pre-order?
What?
Didn't you pre-order?
Yes.
Pre-order what?
76.
Go complain.
Yeah.
I did.
So,
I emailed them. Remember? Okay, so...
You, me, and John, and,
Jack Boot.
yeah, can be playing 76 while he's a scrub and is too lazy to contact Best Buy to get his damn
here's the
code.
thing. So I did. Remember, I don't know if anybody
Did you
listening...
call them?
Not yet. I've been busy.
There you go.
But, so, last week, or not, I guess not last week, because we were not present and accounted for last week. The last podcast, which was 2 weeks ago, you all might remember that I was composing a politely displeased email with Best Buy because I pre-ordered the $200 version of Fallout 76, didn't get my beta code. Well, they replied to me, and it was an automated reply that essentially said, "We don't do emails anymore."
Fuck off. By the way, you have a random icon on this screen, and it's bugging me.
Ah, yes, that would be Assassin's Creed Odyssey, because
That's what I thought it was.
I always have my,
What, did you ostracize that over there?
No,
No,
whenever you get
You're not allowed to be with the other application.
he knows what he's right. Whatever he was about to say.
He's got that census thing. So whenever he gets a new program on his computer, for some reason it puts it on the opposite monitor.
Yeah, it doesn't put it where I want it. Everything that it gets installed goes over there, and it's the most annoying thing. And I just haven't moved it because I've had my fences turned off, which hides all my icons.
I think it's kind of funny because I'll be on my computer and I just look over like, oh yeah, I forgot to install that.
You'd be like, wonder what to play, and you look over at your other monitor. Oh.
All right.
It's like, didn't I get a couple games a week ago? It's like, where are they at? Oh, there they are.
Hey there, Black Rose. Glad you were able to join us. So yeah, I composed my email and they're like, they made it sound like it was streamlining their customer service, but I'm sorry. It's not.
Well, they know most people aren't going to call.
Exactly. So it's streamlining the customer service for them, i.e. they don't have to do customer service.
Yes.
Yes,
for Xbox. Yeah, Xbox One today.
Thank you for contacting Best Buy via email. This email address is no longer supported due to the redesigning of our customer service experience to more quickly and conveniently assist our customers via chat on bestbuy.com.
Chat?
Yes.
Fucking chat?
Yes.
It's like Activision. Activision's fucking, what's it called? Customer support is via Twitter.
Yeah, that bothers the shit out of me.
Well, I'm going to bash on... We can always bring this back to bashing EA. They basically shut down theirs.
Yeah, EA has no customer service anymore.
Yeah.
What a great company.
Because they had to shut it down because people were returning a game in mass.
I wonder why.
Yeah, you got to go on a fucking treasure hunt to find EA customer support. You got to Google it and then you got to complete 800-piece puzzle, and then you gotta contact one. You gotta go to their website, and you get FAQs, and you gotta it's an obstacle course. You'd be better off auditioning or trying out for the Olympics.
It's like trying to find somebody who speaks English to reset your password at work.
Yeah, at a certain point, they actually they set up where you had to email a person and give them a reason.
Yeah.
Why you're refunding this game. It's like most people were like, you know why.
EA is just a piece of work. But yeah, I mean, I guess I could contact people on Best Buys via chat, but email is so much easier because I've dealt with live chat customer support. Some live chat customer support's really good. Some's really bad. There's no middle ground, and when it's really bad, you get stuck at your computer screen like this for 45 minutes while they're like, please wait while I do my best to assist you. And then they're like, sorry for the wait, only one more moment. And 45 minutes go by and they're like, what is your name? Type in your name. 1 moment, please. Then they want your order number. And then they tell you 1 moment, please. I hate, it's just...
Even at the very end of the process, they tell you they can't help you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, okay, well, you owe me something for sitting here and losing 2 hours worth of my life.
Yeah, it's like one of the loan companies I have a student loan from. If you try and call them, you'll be on hold for like 2 hours. So if you go through the live chat, it takes like 45 minutes for them to help you. Because it took them forever, because like they won't send out paper bills. But if you want to pay online, they charge you like 3% of your payment.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
As a service charge, it's literally data. It's free.
Well, and if you're not going to send me a paper bill, how else do you, I mean, that's
yeah, it's
just...
like you're saving money by not paying postage.
Yeah. and on top of that, they got to pay the people on the phone by the hour to help take your money. Is it not just cheaper to waive that charge?
Or the person they have doing the live chat.
Yeah. It's dumb. Customer service is oftentimes terrible. You want to know one really good customer service, though?
What's that?
Loot Crate.
Yeah.
I will, day in and day out, say that they've got a customer service model that every company should look up to. First off, they still have email because I don't know when we evolved, and I'm doing air quotes over evolved because it's more to me devolving, but don't know when we went away from that. But I ordered my first Fallout Loot Crate from them, and it was the Tunnel Snakes hoodie that came with it. And
Snakes rule.
I was waiting for somebody to do it. The hoodie didn't fit. It was too small because I ordered a medium because I wear mediums, but I wear large hoodies, and it didn't fit. And I emailed them up like a month or two after I got the crate. And I'm like, hey guys, didn't know if it was possible, but I ordered the Fallout Loot Crate. The Tunnel Snakes hoodie's great, but it doesn't fit. It's a medium and I need a large. Is there any chance that I can get an exchange on one? And they're like, can you just take a picture of the hoodie with the size label so that we know that you actually received it and that it's a medium? And I'm like, sure thing. And I sent them the picture, and they're like, all right, your new hoodie will arrive in 5 to 7 business days. And then I asked them if I had to return the one I had, and they're like, nah, keep it. And then when it ended up coming in, they gave me 2 larges. And I emailed them like, you guys sent me 2, and they're like, keep it.
All right.
And like they've always been super helpful with my, I was kind of bitter because I was on like a crate by crate subscription. On the website, when you subscribe by crate on the mobile phone, it makes it look like you're only buying 1 crate. But actually, it's a recurring 1 month thing. So like you buy the crate and they bill you for that crate, and then like 3 weeks before the next crate comes out, they'll bill you again. I thought that it was a pre-subscribed thing. And so I had like 4 subscriptions because I thought you had to subscribe each month. And I emailed them and I was kind of pissed off. I'm like, hey, you guys just billed me like $100 and I didn't pay for $100. And they're like, oh, we're sorry. It was a miscommunication, blah, 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 blah. They're like, we've canceled and refunded both of the other 2 subscriptions, and we made sure to maintain the most recent one. And I'm like, cool, thanks. they just... And they do all these things, like all their stuff is taken care of for me within like 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that that's a good customer service model.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, whatever happened to companies actually giving a shit about their customer base?
ASUS clearly doesn't give a rat's ass about anything because they've misprinted their technical support line in all of their wireless routers. And I've said this before. We get phone calls from people using ASUS routers asking how to set it up. Like, they'll be like, hi, I need help with my router. oh, well, is it a trim router or is it a tabletop router? It's a wireless router. Oh, well, we don't sell a wireless router. You know, like for internet.
Oh, we don't even deal with that kind of router. But
And then they're like, yeah, you know, I put my VPN and my IP and this and that, and I'm like, I'm just sitting there, I'm just holding the phone, letting them talk, and then as soon as they're done, I'm like, I think you might have the wrong number. And then they read off the number, and it's our phone number, but I'm like, they misprinted it. You're just gonna have to Google it.
But I don't have internet.
you need to have that written next to the thing. It's like ASUS's phone number.
Yeah. And it's funny, though, some of the phone calls that I get at work, some people that call are just priceless. Like I had just the other day, I had somebody call me from in the store.
From in the store.
He was in the store. And everybody in this room knows that my store is not big. It's got 8 aisles, and each aisle is like,
Yeah, it's like
50
what,
feet.
60 feet maybe?
50,
30 by 60.
Something like that. It's not very big.
Yeah.
And he called me, and he's like, he was looking for, I can't remember what it was. It was some sort of oil filter wrench that we didn't carry. Like it was an odd oil filter wrench that we didn't have. And I'm like, no, we don't have those. You might check an auto parts store. And he's like, well, if you did have them, where would they be? And I'm like, oh, if I had them, they'd probably be in aisle 5 with all my oil maintenance stuff. And he's like, well, I checked in aisle 5. I'm in the store right now, and I didn't see it. And I'm like,
why didn't you just grab somebody?
why didn't you just walk and ask somebody? And so I'm like, yeah, no, we don't have it. And I hung up, and 3 minutes later, I got a call on the walkie. Hey, do we have these special oil cap wrenches? And I'm like, I already told that customer no. He's like, well, he didn't ask anybody in the store. I'm like, no, he fucking called me.
I'm sitting there wondering, it's like you carry both types. Like, what do you need?
I don't know. It was some weird ass thing. It was obscure. We don't have it. Like, we have pretty much every type of oil wrench there is. We have the plier ones. We have the cap wrenches. We have the strap wrenches.
Yeah, and the ones that fit on a socket.
Yeah.
The only other one I can think of, it's like, it'd be like mine, but you use a 15/16 socket, literal socket to take off.
I have no idea, but the people that call, and then the people that like call and they ask when we close, where did you get the phone number? Probably online.
Yeah.
You know what's right next to the phone number? Business hours.
You know what Google usually tells you before the phone
Business
number?
hours.
Yeah.
You know what's even better is if you plug in Google, the place you're going to be, and they're not open or they're about to close whenever you go there, it tells you, hey, this place is about to close. Are you sure you want to go there?
And then I had somebody the other night, we locked the doors. It was a Sunday, so we closed at 6. And we locked the doors, and we're cleaning, and 10 after 6, he's reading the business hours on the window, and he's trying to open the door. And I walk up to the front door, and I open it, and I'm like, can I help you, sir? He's like, you guys closed?
Yes. Yes, we are. Come back tomorrow.
Yeah,
What?
several times had them pull up, stare at their window. I mean, physically lean out their window to stare at the door, circle around, park,
And then
come up there, get like 4 inches from the letters, and then still sit there and proceed to pull in the door.
What do you think you're going to gain? Like, we closed 15 minutes ago.
I'm
And then he's like, well, can you guys ring me up? I know exactly what I need. I'm like, sir, the drawers have been taken out. The registers are now inoperable.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do?
And even if we wanted to, corporate won't let us.
Oh, no, corporate would let us.
They don't know that.
I just can't believe the things that people do and or ask are just...
I'm honestly surprised nobody has broken the doors by pulling on them.
Yeah, it won't be long. I told you guys about the old lady that didn't know what a wrench was, right?
I'm not surprised about that.
No.
She came in with like the most simple set of instructions. It was like tools needed for the job, and it was a flathead screwdriver and a 15/16 wrench. That was all she needed. And she knew what the screwdriver was, but she's like, do you all sell these? And she's pointing at like the diagram of whatever she was building. I'm like, what is that? And she's like, you know, this the long thing with the square end on one end and the round end on the end. I'm like,
A wrench?
a wrench? Like, yeah, we sell wrenches. And I walked her over there, and I'm like, these are what? She's like, oh, those are neat. Like,
How old was she?
Old.
Did you ask her if she still lived with her parents?
No, I should have. But Dave was super mean to people, though. Like, when somebody would ask Dave where gloves were. We have a 16-foot wall of gloves, and it's under an aisle sign that says in big white letters, gloves. And somebody would ask Dave where gloves was, like, with their back to them. And Dave would point behind him and be like, they're right there, sir. And then turn around and be like, oh, I'd completely missed those. And Dave would be like, did you drive here?
Yeah,
And-
as he wandered off mumbling to himself, it's like,
Did you drive here? And I swear, like, that's exactly what this man would say to the customer, like, right to their face. And the customer, they would be so confused. Like, they wouldn't really know if he was joking or what he really meant.
Yeah, I guess I did drive here.
Oh, we got way off topic. We started talking about Fallout 76's beta, and then...
Customer support. You know, speaking of getting back on track a little bit
pretty good deal. Yeah, it is.
on customer support,
Stock included.
I'm not buying Battlefield 5 because of EA.
EA fucked themselves with that.
I mean, I played the beta. I think it's a good game. I like the way it plays, but whenever EA says, if you don't like the way we're doing things, don't buy the fucking game. So I'm like,
Well,
all right, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Well,
You're
because
not
there was a
getting my
big...
money now.
I know that there was a big complaint about, like, how there were a bunch of cybernetic soldiers and shit like that, and people are like, that's not really that...
I'm
His-
sorry. It's like, yeah, you got a message.
Yeah, I'll check it here in a little bit. It's like... people were like, oh, well, it's not that historically accurate, and blah, 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 blah. And EA literally said, well, if you don't like it, don't buy the game.
All right.
Okay, I hadn't planned on it anyway.
Black
It was
Rose...
just like what was it she has on her arm?
It was like a
It
cybernetic
was a full
prosthetic
metal
arm, yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't usable. I thought it just was like a hook on the end.
I mean, but it was a fully metal arm.
They had those long time ago. They made a discovery not too long ago where some guy actually had one with a knife on it. I mean, it was like 1400s.
Well, yeah, but the thing is that there's not really many, if any, people who with prosthetics that served in the world wars. That's what they're getting at.
And again, it's not
only
even...
that, and also women serving on the front line too.
Yeah.
Battlefield...
Not that they didn't
and-
serve in the army.
EA literally was like, they definitely did. We're not historically inaccurate. Like, they were...
Like, sure, they were in the army, in the armed forces, doing specific jobs, but very rarely, if ever, were they on the front lines
Yeah, a lot of them were,
in the thick of combat.
sometimes mechanics, drivers, not frontline drivers, but drivers, nurses.
Yeah.
But, some would fly. Some would fly planes from factory to airfield. That's about as far as they got.
But EA was like, they were flat out like, well, we're definitely not wrong. And if you don't like it, don't buy it. And I think the whole reason, like, people are mad is because EA's response was, if you don't like it, don't buy it.
What a great way to treat your customer base.
Yeah.
Like, really? The only people who'd fucking buy your games, and you're just like, fuck you guys, you're all idiots. And they also said that, anybody who disagrees with us and thinking that this is or isn't historically accurate is uneducated and ignorant. And it's just like...
EA's words.
I don't doubt it at all.
You insult me and then tell me not to buy your game. It's like, for once, I'm going to take your advice.
Black Rose, real quick, asks how everybody's doing today. I'm doing all right. A little tired.
I could be better.
Well, we don't care. Nate?
I've been working overtime every day all day.
Nobody cares, Nick.
I broke something in my car, so I'm kind of pissed.
That's not good.
But again, nobody cares. So,
Fuck you.
No, I didn't say nobody cares to him.
well, I did. So,
I'll tell you
What time did you get home last night then?
7.
Jesus.
I tell you what though, my last paycheck was looking pretty good.
yeah, I bet it was. It's like when I was working at Ford. Those paychecks looked pretty nice.
Oh man.
Oh, I have a random fact on prosthetics, actually. They found a mummy's foot with prosthetic toe.
One toe.
No, it was a whole foot with the big toe was prosthetic.
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
I heard a story of a guy in, I think it was World War II, serving in the North African campaign, and he ran into a Turk. This is like a British unit. They ran into some Turks, and one guy looks him over. He's a tall, dark-skinned man, and looks over at these guys, sees some Highlanders in the British forces, and talks to them in Gaelic. As it turns out, that guy used to live in Ireland, and he's originally from Ireland, but he ran into some trouble and then left, fought with the Turks in the the Russian-Persian War or something like that, got his nose chopped off, and had it replaced with a silver one that was painted flesh-colored.
Interesting. Disturbing.
That's Is this real life?
So, I also wanted to talk about it because I actually finally picked it up. I waited a couple weeks. I picked up Assassin's Creed Odyssey, the other day, and I've been playing it off and on. First and foremost, the game looks gorgeous. However, I can't play it at 4K. Everything's set to ultra 60 FPS. Doesn't work. I had to run it through GeForce Experience and tweak a few settings so that I could get 60 frames out of it. But given the scale of the map and just the sheer amount of shit there is to do, understandable. And there's one thing that I wanted to mention is, Nate, I think you would really, of course you liked Origins, but they took Origins and stepped up their game even further. God, that is so annoying. Can you stop? Anything else in that box you could pick up would not be near as annoying as that. But you picked up the most annoying thing out of that box.
I don't know. There are similar things.
Please stop. Anyways, side quests fucking everywhere. Like, you just walk down the street, side quests, side quests, side quests, side quests. Tons of ways to earn experience and money and shit like that. So it's a very dense game as far as stuff to do. My biggest gripe with it so far, and while it sounds minor, it's enough to make it hard for me to sit through cutscenes. Due to the new structure of the game, it's played more like an RPG even than Origins was. Now when you enter dialogue with somebody, oftentimes you can make choices. So you'll talk to somebody, and then there'll be like 3 dialogue options that you can pick. And then the conversation will continue, and so on and so forth. And due to that, I think they had to simplify some of the animations a little bit. So when I say simplify, they use the same handful of over-exaggerated animations. Like, so I'll get back to that because the voice acting is also kind of not great. Like, have you ever seen like a show where somebody was new to acting and they overexpressed their emotion, like their physical stuff, and their voices sounded a little forced? That is the best way I can describe Assassin's Creed Odyssey to you.
Fallout 4?
No, not even
that bad?
Fallout 4 is good compared to Odyssey.
Okay.
Fallout 4 is really not bad.
That is bad.
Fallout 4 is not bad, but like You get these moments where somebody looks shocked and his eyes get huge and he's like, "Oh no!" It's just the voice acting paired with the animation is just, it's so immersion breaking. Like if it was one or the other, it would be doable. But it's the voice acting. It just feels like they got second-rate voice actors, and it just not great.
So I didn't notice how bad Fallout 4's was until I went and replayed it.
What Fallout 4 is what voice?
Hang on. Harambe Hot Sauce, by the way, great name, says, I can't help but notice your name. However, this question will determine if I follow or not. Are you talking about a Gibson Les Paul or an Epiphone? I own a 2004 Gibson Studio Deluxe, so it's in reference to the Gibson.
I've got a 2001.
Nobody gives a rat's ass about
Les
what you
Paul
have.
Supreme.
Shut up.
2016
hot.
Focus.
Really?
Yeah.
It's pretty hot though.
Thank
What kind of guitar is that?
Oh, we're talking about guitars.
It's like, I'm talking about guitar.
Guitars.
Guitar.
God damn it.
So no, it's just the quest, like the story is really cool, and it's very rooted in, it's super neat to have a game in Greece. But
Black Rose is happy that he finally has somebody else.
hey, I'm happy that we have people in the chat as well.
Epiphone Master Race. Wow. Sorry, I go for American made. Just kidding. Gibson is not that great anymore. They used to be fantastic.
Well, thank you for following Harambe Hot Sauce. Again, killer name. It's a pretty damn good name.
It's a pretty solid name. That gets an A triple plus.
You say American only, but you drive a Mazda.
Your point?
It's owned by Ford.
There
just
you
wanna
go.
say.
It's owned by Ford.
It's probably made in America too, if I had to guess.
There you go.
For the most part, yeah. It's probably, unfortunate, as sad as it sounds, his Mazda is probably more made in America than my car.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Suck it.
You didn't know that going
My
into
boots
it.
are made in America.
You didn't know that your car was American until those two backed you up.
Well, I did know it was owned by Ford when I bought it.
Yes. Is it owned or is it does Ford own stock? I think there's a difference.
It was owned. I think they branched off more of their own.
I was going to
their
say,
own
I'm pretty
entity.
sure Ford owns stock in Mazda, but I don't think they own
I don't
Mazda
know,
anymore.
But
Because I know you've mentioned people drive them and park in the Ford lot.
yeah, they're pretty
Oh, he's
closely
Canadian.
interlaced. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the
Harambe's
story is. I know they use a
Canadian-y.
lot of. I mean, the Mazdas and the Fords, they use a lot of similar parts. I think in America, most of the Mazdas are done by Ford. I think everywhere else,
It's
kind of
Japan.
like its own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
mostly because Japan has way different emission laws than we do.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, actually, they're three separate things. Us, Japan, and the EU market is a little different just because of emission laws.
Yeah, that's American emission laws are very different. And then, well, of course, then you've got California, whose emission laws are even more different than the rest of the country.
Yeah, well, usually those are built first, then modified when they get to
Yeah.
California. Usually by the dealer.
I only know that, or I don't only know that, but I suffer the consequences of that because people somehow find the California item numbers on our gas-powered engines and come in requesting those and get really grumpy when I tell them we don't have them because we don't live in California.
But these one had better reviews. Well, too bad. Yeah, I remember that.
I think the reason why Epiphone doesn't use... Well, Gibson doesn't necessarily own Epiphone. It's kind of like the Ford Mazda talk that's going on. Because they kind of own Epiphone, but Epiphone operates more independently of Gibson. Like, it's different with Fender versus Squier, because Fender legitimately owns Squier, and it's a lesser brand by them.
Yeah.
But Epiphone will be able to operate independently if Gibson goes under.
You made Tyler happy. That's like the first conversation he's actually been able to engage himself in.
Yeah, I know.
On the
Most of
podcast
time
in a
you
long
guys
time.
Talk about cars.
Cars are computer parts, and Tyler's like, yes!
I could talk about guitars and music. Holy shit!
So yeah, it's like cars, computers, PC games, guns. It's like, yeah, everything Tyler can't talk about.
Yeah, it's like Epiphone and Gibson are two separate brands, or at least more separate brands than Fender and Squier. So, yeah.
Speaking of car brands, kind of going back to that talk.
Yeah.
And we can go back and forth as chat pops in, but I mean, this is so, as we all know as gamers, and you heard me, I think, complaining about this, Tyler. I was telling you about it, but I didn't explain what was frustrating me about it, and Nick didn't hear. There is a video, I've been watching videos on YouTube about people, 5 things or 10 things I don't like about Forza Horizon 4, 5 things wrong with, or whatever. And I watch them to see if there's any, like, constructive things that I can sit there and go, yeah, that's fair.
I feel like you watch them just to get mad.
No.
Maybe partially.
Like, in the back of my head, I expect that when I walk to it...
World, Black Rose. Welcome to my world.
Black Rose says they have no contribution to this topic, so Tyler feels the same way. The first complaint on this 5-part list of things that are wrong with or that they didn't like about Forza is that there was no Toyota or Mitsubishi.
I
Now,
wasn't trying to show you anything.
No.
I was holding my phone.
Usually when you hold it like that, you're trying to show me something.
I'm just holding it.
the biggest problem that I have with the whole Mitsubishi and Toyota aren't in Horizon 4 is that he proceeded to go on and say, if they were able to get the James Bond cars, why couldn't they get Toyota or Mitsubishi?
Well, most of the James Bond cars are already in the game.
They're already in the game.
Most of your Astons, especially like the Vantage.
Yeah, they had to pay a fee for the word, like the name James Bond and like the James Bond logo. That they had to pay licensing for that. But people have to understand, and I don't think a lot of people do, and then it's people like this guy that blame it on Turn 10 and Playground. It is not their fault that Mitsubishi and Toyota are not in the game. If you seriously think that they didn't try their damnedest to get both of those brands in the game, you are out of your damn mind.
Especially in a game like this and not having the Evos in it and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Harambe says Lancer Master Race. Agreeable, but it's not in this game. And
To answer your other question, though.
Tyler's like...
To answer your other question, though, most modern Gibson Les Pauls are chambered, so they have holes in the body, so they're lighter. Whereas mine, it's a kind of a classic style. It's kind of a classic design, so it's very big, very thick, and very heavy.
That's what she said.
Yeah, I know, and it's great.
so hey, like your woman, very big and very thick.
Yeah, it is actually.
Not
really.
But yeah, like we're gonna go back and forth on topics for a little while,
Yeah,
which
I'm
is
just
fine.
gonna keep answering him, so I can have something to say in
But-
the podcast.
Well, no, and I mean you can still contribute. Like it bothers the shit out of me when people critique companies for not getting licenses to these
It's just
cars
ignorance,
when
that's all
it's
it is.
Yeah, for stuff that's out of their control.
they can't control that. And I did
like,
find
all
out.
they can do is ask.
Yeah, they can ask and they can be like, well, we'll pay you this much for the license. Will you take it? And if they keep saying no, there gets to be a point where it's not valuable enough to put in the game. I don't know on average how much it costs for an automotive license to feature their cars in the game. I'd imagine it's not cheap, but to a company like Turn 10, it's probably
pretty cheap for
not.
Ford.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well, Ford's practically giving it away. It's like,
Yeah.
here, we'll pay you.
Yeah.
Ford's just like more advertising.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And like,
You mean we get to show off our Shelby, and then people might want to buy it? What?
yeah.
Yeah. Whereas, like, you probably get Chevy where you have to basically, like, twist their arm to get anything in there. Hence the ZR2.
The funny thing is, I did read one of the comments to this guy's video that was talking about this.
Standard is standard for a reason. It's good stuff.
It was talking about the licensing problem, and they apparently, while Toyota's comment is true, they literally said, we're afraid that if people drive Toyota cars in the game, that they will have too much fun with those in game and not want to own one in real life. And while that logic is
Backwards.
retarded to me,
It's a really, really, really interesting way to think about it, honestly.
Yeah.
But that's Japanese logic. Take our logic, run it backwards. That's our logic.
why do you think they read books backwards?
Yeah.
That was mildly offensive, and I apologize.
What are you, racist?
But so that was actually something they said. But somebody also made the comment that they're pretty sure Mitsubishi and Toyota are both trying to be more focused around family cars and road cars, not performance cars.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're, to some extent, if you put your performance cars in a game, the reputation of those cars is going to precede the reputation of your road cars and your family cars. Because I will be completely honest with you, Toyota makes some pretty damn good family cars.
Yeah.
They're not in the game because nobody wants to race a Camry or an Avalon.
Hey, you guys want to have minivan races?
Yeah, seriously.
Do that. But
Don't they have the what is it, the NASCAR Camry or something?
Yeah, in 7, Forza Motorsport 7 they do.
but that's a stock car. That doesn't.
Yeah,
that
it's
doesn't-
not.
It's a shell of a Camry. It doesn't really count.
It just looks like a Camry.
Pretty much.
But like, that logic makes sense to me. If they don't want their sports cars to be featured in the game, because let's be honest, when was the last time Mitsubishi made a sports car?
I mean, since they discontinued the Lancer,
Mid 2000s, late 2000s.
like
They're
What?
they're bringing back the Eclipse. Did you
Yeah,
hear
is a
about that?
fucking crossover.
yeah, it's a damn SUV. Okay, since they since the Eclipse turned into an ugly teardrop piece of shit.
I would like to. Yeah, continue. I'm gonna post a picture
I wanna
comparing
know
the
whose
original
business idea
Eclipse.
that was. Like
Well-
they made the revolutionary import. Well, it wasn't even an import. It was like the car to buy if you want to modify cars and stuff back in the day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And now they're turning into a family crossover.
yeah. That's
Why
another
are crossovers becoming so popular? Like they're turning.
'Cause
the
everyone wants
focus into a
SUVs.
crossover.
because
But they want better gas mileage.
there's this weird
don't
gray
get it.
area where full-size sedans are kind of going away, and you end up with jumping from like my car to small SUV.
so this is the Mitsubishi Eclipse. This is usually the one that people think about. This one or
That's the car that started the whole
these two.
tuning evolution in America, basically.
Yeah, pretty popular Mitsubishi sports car. Well, now they have created this.
Pony cars did that. What the fuck is that?
That is the Mitsubishi Eclipse.
What did they do to it? I'm not even a car guy, but why?
They've completely given up on their performance vehicles. It
Har-
looks like.
Harambe says now people buy Honda Civics to mess with. That's very true.
Well, the only reason they
Well-
Mm-hmm.
do that is because they're so cheap.
But
People
we,
always.
I mean,
bought
look at
Civics.
this. This looks good.
Mhm.
This does not.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is not an Eclipse. I don't know what that is, but that's not an Eclipse.
Maybe they should have named it something else.
Yeah, that's a company.
Real quick, the car that people buy now to modify instead of the Eclipse is the 240 still.
That's probably true, yeah.
In the Sylvias.
That's another example of a company piggybacking off
Whoops.
a name.
Yeah.
Like the Dodge Dart.
Yeah.
It's they're piggybacking off of popular names. Like, oh, this is popular. Let's sell this.
And people only buy it because of the name.
Pretty much.
It's funny though. Apparently, Ford unveiled the GT350, or GT500, the new Ford GT500, from Shelby, which is.
Harambe says it looks like a Prius.
It does. Oh my God!
He's not wrong.
I didn't notice that until he said that, but that's so right.
Extend the front end a little bit out. And
The older
yeah,
Priuses.
yeah.
No, they're starting to make the new ones. That's the thing that's irritating the shit out of me about Priuses is that they're trying to make them look sporty, and they're just getting progressively more ugly.
Have you seen the like Japan and stuff? They're starting to like stance them and stuff.
Oh my God!
Like this is a new
Stanced
thing.
Priuses.
It's a new thing. Yeah, look one up real quick.
not sure I want to see
Oh
this.
god.
It's a new thing that they're doing.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Get your vomit buckets ready. Oh my god. What in the hell?
Look at them decals.
The fuel efficient rice burner.
Oh yeah.
Who thought this was okay? I like how they got these giant ass exhaust tips on it when in reality it's not really gonna need them.
When it's like a 0.9 liter.
Yeah.
What I mean.
Look at that
Wow.
camber.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
Look at that camber.
it's pretty hot. It's got a big wing on it too.
From GTA. Oh, because people started dancing. That's what started the movement
Oh, yeah,
right
that's what-
there.
Yeah. There's a stance Prius for no reason.
Fucking GTA. That is ugly. See, when we were talking wheels for your car, Tyler, and you weren't a fan of like certain colored wheels, this is a sin. You don't do like bronzish burnt orange wheels with a yellow car. That's
No, you
just
don't.
oh my goodness. The list just goes on and on.
Oh boy.
I mean, if they're anything like the drivers around here, they might actually need that wing for going 90 down the highway.
It's not Rocket League, people. This is real life.
What? Go up, right to the left. No, down one. That one. What is that? I want to see that one. Oh boy.
They put the Lexus logo on it. Guys, check out my Lexus Prius.
Is that a Lexus front end on it?
I think so.
Oh my god.
Did you ever get that fixed?
Yeah, I got it fixed.
Okay.
Get what fixed?
He was working on his, what is he, your mom's boyfriend's Lexus?
Yeah, they're actually getting married in November.
Soon to be father-in-law? Or whatever.
Stepfather.
Yeah.
Stepfather.
Yeah.
Where did I get father-in-law at? Oh.
your,
Shut up.
your wife's dad.
Seriously, how did we go from this, which is already ugly, to this, which is even worse?
Oh, on the far left over there. You see that one? The top left. Look
Uh,
at that one. That's the opposite of stance.
That's
Oh
amazing.
man. Am I gonna be streaming Forza or Sea of Thieves soon? I'll probably be streaming tonight.
Which one though?
Not sure yet. That's TBD.
Tune in to find out.
Yeah, tune in. We will probably be live. I just don't know what we're playing yet. Depends on who I've got. Speaking of Forza, though, there is a car that I would really like to see in Forza. You guys have heard of Test Drive, right? It's an old racing game. It goes way back.
I think I heard of it.
Way
back when.
There was one called Test Drive Overdrive, which was like the first PS2 racing game that I ever played, and I always thought the opening sequence to that game was just awesome.
That was like one of the first PC racing games too, wasn't it? Test Drive.
Yeah, I think Test Drive was one of the first big PC games too. There was a Viper, and I can never remember the name of the Viper, but I looked up the opening sequence today because I knew that if I saw the Viper, somebody would comment in the video, blah 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 blah, the Viper, blah 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 blah. And fortunately, I was right. It was the 2000 Viper GTSR, and I want this car in Forza.
When are they gonna bring that one back?
Bring what back?
The Viper.
The Viper is probably dead. I don't think they're going to bring that back. So this is the GTSR.
Yeah.
I really like this car.
Is that one of the ones that like to catch on fire or not?
That was 99.
2 words to Google if you want instant depression, Reliant Robin. Oh, trust me. That's not depression. That's laughter in a can.
That's laughter on 3 wheels.
Actually, I think it was 99 through like 03.
What's that?
Viper's catching fire.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't think it was through 03. It was the first generation, which would have ended right around 2000. Actually, no, I think 2003 was probably the end of that generation. Because this, as you can tell, this looks like the 2008 body style.
Yeah. But
This was 2000.
But this is back when they were screaming metal death traps.
Yeah.
How expensive are these?
This car in particular?
Yeah.
there's only a handful in existence.
Okay,
so
really expensive.
very expensive.
Yes.
Because I know some of the Vipers aren't actually that expensive now.
No, the original ones you can pick up the old Roadsters for like $45,000.
Yeah.
Which, while that is expensive, relative, it's dirt fucking cheap.
For what you get.
And oddly enough, yeah, they got a V10 in them, but that V10 is the exact same truck V10 that was around forever.
Yeah.
So
I really like this Viper.
as long as you don't damage the hood, you're fine because that's like 10 grand alone.
It's funny as to why they made this, though, because I did a little bit of research on it. The Viper was getting banned from, like, every popular racing circuit because it was just dominating the races. So, like, first they would ban certain things that the Viper was using, and so they'd modify the Viper, and it would still crush, and then they'd ban something else, and then they'd ban the SRT-10, and then Viper's like, all right, fuck you. So they made this to race, and they never did. But that thing is awesome. I would love to have one of these in Forza.
Oh, that was smart of them. They actually covered the exhaust pipes on the side.
I think the exhaust pipes, even on the Roadsters, I think were still covered.
They were open.
Yeah.
Were they?
They were covered. This is the 99 Viper.
Which one is it? A lot of them.
Yeah, one of them is not covered because it was in Top Gear where it caught the paint on fire on the side of the car.
Yeah, there were a lot of times like there were a few of them. If you stepped out of them wrong, you would burn your leg because they run at 700 degrees.
Whoops. This one. The original Viper.
Yeah, that one.
You can see
I
it
think
there.
one of the newer ones too. I want to say
It would have only been 2008 or 2013, and
I think it was 08.
the 8s are covered.
Is it?
Yeah. It's covered. Only pops out there. And the 13s I know are covered.
Well, still hot. It was still hot enough
Fat tires in the back of that
to scorch me.
Viper.
This one? Well, that's the ACR. That's the track killer. I told you guys my uncle almost bought one of those. Matter of fact, he almost bought one just like that, except it was black with a red stripe.
Nice.
You want to talk about a car that's getting ready to spike in value?
What?
The Vipers,
Oh.
especially the ACRs, because now that they don't make them anymore, everybody's gonna want one.
That's how it goes, isn't it?
Yep, we talked about a shitload of stuff on here. To answer your comment though, Harambe, we actually play. It's not necessarily the Reliant Robin; it's the Reliant Supervan, but Reliance made 3-wheel cars. That's pretty much all they did. So,
yeah.
Same concept. We race around with those in Forza, and yes, the 2009 ACRs are amazing looking. One of my favorite sports cars. Granted, there's actually a lot of sports cars not even American sports cars. I'm starting to not like the vets, especially
I
there's.
really don't like the new vets.
Have you seen the ones that are mid-engine?
Mid-engine.
I don't think so. I don't know. I probably won't like it though.
There was leaked footage of one that was mid-engine from the Nürburgring.
A concept or one that are coming out with it that are just testing?
It was doing test laps at the Nürburgring. Let me see if I can find it. I was not a fan, to be honest with you.
I don't like the new Mustang either.
It looks like, to be honest with you, this thing looks like it's trying to be, strange as this sounds, a Honda NSX. Like, it's what it looks like it's trying to be. I'm going to mute the speakers so that we don't have...
We talking 05 here?
Sure.
Yep.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah, still don't like it.
I really am not a fan.
The front looks like you said, like an NSX, but with like some kind of Ferrari headlights or something.
It looks like they bastardized a Ferrari and an NSX.
And a Porsche, maybe. I think there's some Porsche.
I
mixed in
will
there.
I would
It definitely resembles a Ferrari, no doubt in my mind.
I would say mash up probably a 488 and the 05 NSX.
It does not look like it should emit that sound.
No, the only benefit that thing has going for it, it still has the LS in it.
It looks like it should sound like a Lambo or a Ferrari, not a Corvette. So I don't know. Like, I'm not a fan of that. I don't like the way that looks.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me being a traditional fuck, but I don't like it.
You know how hardcore of Chevy fan I am. I don't even like that.
Yeah.
That's saying something.
Black Rose, to answer your question, I would be excited for Halloween if it was on a different day, but I'm pretty sure I have to work.
I'll probably be working too. What day is it on?
As it's looking right now, I might not have to. But then again, I won't get any candy, so.
It's next Wednesday.
Oh, I will be off.
If I'm
Great.
off, I'll probably hang out and chill, but I'm probably working. And Harambe, yes, the new vet looks bulky.
You know what car brand or car make I'm really starting to like? Alfa Romeo. I'm really starting to like them.
Alpha's got
Wouldn't
some nice
Tesla
cars.
Like
be
the
in
I'm
Horizon?
in love with the quadrifoglio.
Tesla was in the last Horizon.
Was it?
The Model S was.
Yep.
I didn't know.
It really wasn't that exciting, to be honest, because it didn't make any noise.
Well, yeah, it just goes really
It's
fast for about 3 seconds, and then
Do you like the Ferrari F50? I think the F50 is the one that
That's
I
the old
prefer.
one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the F50. I'm not as big of a fan as the F40 because the F40 is the one that had square headlights and then pop-up headlights. Like it had both.
It was weird. You know that Abarth convertible?
Yeah,
Horizon?
the Spider.
Yeah, I saw one of those.
Yeah, they're nice.
In
There's
Clarksville.
one that lives around here.
It was in Clarksville.
They're built on the Miata frame.
The
They're
car
really
lives around
popular. The owner does.
it's one of those cars that lives around here.
Yeah.
You can see it grazing the fields of
I'm
I-65.
gonna slap him. But I actually looked at that as like,
They're not bad looking cars.
no, it's not.
And they look like they're a hell of a lot of fun to drive. Matter of fact, they reviewed one of those in the Grand Tour. Richard Hammond did, and that thing, like he had nothing but good things to say. Said it was a lot of fun to drive, and apparently you can feel that it's built on the Miata chassis because it feels really good.
But it's bigger than the Miata.
Yeah, it's a little bit bigger. Not a whole lot, but a little bit.
But not not Miata small.
Yeah, no.
You know what looks really good, but it's really slow?
I wonder
The
if it's like a hard
Toyota's
top.
version of the BRZ.
Yeah, the 86.
It looks really nice. Like it almost looks like borderline supercar. It's just too bad it's slow as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, the Fiat Spiders, I don't know how much those go for, though. I'm telling you what, though, there's some good-looking cars coming from some brands that have in the past not really made some great-looking cars. Like, I think we've mentioned this on the podcast before, the Kia Stinger. That is a really good-looking four-door sedan.
Yeah.
Like,
I still haven't
but it's a Kia.
heard any with the aftermarket exhaust. I don't know if they make them yet for it.
they might not.
I'd really
You
like to
say
hear
it's
what
a
that-
Kia,
I want to hear what that engine sounds like.
but
Yeah,
it's got a V6 twin-turbo.
Yeah, that's.
And
They're
it was
not kidding
cranking
around.
out a healthy amount of horsepower and torque.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually one of the biggest ones. They have a wide variety of pretty good engines for it.
Yeah,
I never thought I'd say that
if-
about a Kia, but
This is their first year making that car, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I like to see where it goes from here.
I would too.
They've made a car that has potential.
Especially
I don't think it has that potential yet because it's just came out and they need
Yeah.
to work out some kinks, but it could turn out to be a really good car.
it's not very often, I think, that they debut a car that is that stylish and that good a quality and that kind of performance level, like out of the gate.
Well, we can't speak for the quality, really.
Well, that's true.
that Abarth has a 164 horsepower 1.4 with a 6-speed manual.
Damn.
That's hot.
That's a lot of horsepower for a little car.
That's hot. Can I have one?
Mine's making that much.
Yeah, but the Fiat's smaller.
I know.
That's hot. Can I have
It's a
one?
healthy amount.
I would like just a little bit more. I'd like around 200 just because.
Just because.
Yeah.
Little bit more wheel squealing action.
Well, it's
Switch
rear-wheel
something.
drive, too. How much does run?
I'm trying to find out.
MSRP on them?
20,000.
Probably would be hard to get them up to 200
30,000.
horsepower.
It's
Oh,
actually...
no.
You're probably not too far off, Tyler.
Yeah, I am. Probably
30,000 is probably overshooting it. I'd say between 20 and 25 for a... Because it's a small car. It's considered small.
Starting at 25,000.
Oh,
Sweet.
wow. That's more expensive than I
Damn.
thought.
That's about where I expected it to be, honest.
Starting at 25?
Yeah.
Yes.
See, starting at
Mo-
25,
modern
I'd
economy.
rather have a Challenger.
Well, yeah, but I mean, most brand new cars start around 20 to 25,000.
Yeah, but I just figured that small, with such a small engine, it would start a
Yeah,
little
but
cheaper.
it's
That's
kind
not
of like
much. A Miata starts
quote
about
unquote.
22.
Yeah,
it's
I
kinda
kind
like
of expected it to start right around there. What?
It's kind of like a quote unquote like sport car. You know what I mean?
I suppose.
Sporty car.
What
I
about the
don't
look
like
of the
new Miatas.
Corvette ZR1? As new Corvettes go, it's stylish. I've not been...
He doesn't like the taillights.
No, it's not that I don't like the taillights.
I don't like anything.
I like the way it
I
looks.
just don't like it.
But
I like the engine. I don't like anything else.
But to me, when I look at the ZR1s, like, they're amazing looking cars. Yes, Nat. I'm a Dodge fan. But yes, I'm a big Dodge fan, but I'm also a traditionalist, and I really like the original looks of the Corvettes. Like, my absolute favorite is the 67 Stingray, the split window. That is my all-time favorite Corvette. It's just that there's so much to look at there. If I had to pick a generation of the new Corvettes that I really, really liked, I would say it was the early 2000s, where they still had the round headlights and they were still shaped like Corvettes from the profile. Not that the new ones have changed the profile, but they were a little more small and sleek. They still had the round tail lights and the flip-up headlights. I could still see that and go, I think of a Corvette when I see that. These new ones look like Ferraris. Like it looks like Chevy is like, we're gonna make a Ferrari and call it a Corvette.
we sat in a Corvette at that.
Yeah, they're
we
not
have-
very comfortable.
No, I can't get over
We
the
have 3
visibility.
whole
It's
people in the
awful.
chat. It's impressive.
Like I couldn't daily one of those.
No, I couldn't daily. Were you there when we sat in the Camaro?
Yes. And
I would. It was awful
Yeah. Well, that's always been one of the biggest complaints about the Camaro is the visibility. and
because
that
the
is-
windshield's like it sits at this angle, so you only have like this much room to look. And
Oh boy.
for those of you, obviously, we're not streaming video. It was like 1.5 feet of visibility from the top of the dashboard to the roof.
Yeah.
I thought I had bad visibility in my car.
Yeah. And the older Corvette is like, don't get me wrong, it was comfortable. It's like sitting in a Lazy Boy, but you can't see anything.
No, and getting in and out of a fucking vet, not fun. Especially not for somebody who's 6'4".
Yeah. No, hell, even I, when I had to get out, I had to reach up, grab the roof, and pull myself out.
My grandfather's actually contemplated selling his vet before because, granted, he's got a 1980, but they haven't really changed as far as getting in and out.
No, they haven't.
Like, I'm telling you, it sits just a couple inches off the ground,
Yep.
and the seat is not further off. It's not much further off the ground than the bottom of the car.
Nope.
You're practically sitting on the ground.
It took me a while to get used to my car after I got it because I was driving that big
Yeah.
lifted Jeep.
I know what you mean.
I have a
Not
feeling.
quite to the same extent, but I know what you mean.
I have a feeling
kept
when
hitting my fucking head on the roof.
when I get my car fixed, I have a feeling we're gonna have a learning curve there of getting in and out of the
Yeah.
car.
You're gonna be hit your damn head.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I was like, because I'm used to like stepping into a vehicle, and now I had to step down into a
Yeah.
Well,
vehicle.
I had to
Crouch
grab
down
the steering
into-
wheel and then like put my foot on the side of the Jeep and then like hoist myself up.
Yeah.
Pull yourself into it.
Harambe, yeah, the C5s are pretty much of the modern Corvettes. The C5s are the one I prefer the most. But that's just me. Not to say that the new ones don't look good. They don't scream Corvette to me. They scream European sports car.
You know, I had it down to a science, so I could do it really quick. It didn't look like it took any effort, but
You know, it's funny, I got steps for my truck.
well,
That's
My
'cause you're
Jeep,
an old man.
that Jeep had steps on it. They got ripped off.
I was gonna say you probably took it off road one day and you went with steps and you came home without them.
Yeah, they're not ideal. They're right there where the rocker, whatever you call those are, rocker rails, and they hit a rock and ripped it off.
I'd rather destroy those than the rocker panels.
I just don't want to spend $60 every time I need to get my Jeep.
That's why you take them all.
No, you need to get a step stool. Just get a step stool to carry with you everywhere.
I did do that sometimes.
You open
Like-
the door and
Open the door,
If I
reach
ever
in
had
and
to
grab
take
a
my
step
grandma
stool.
somewhere, I had to bring my step stool.
well, I'm just thinking like Nate pulls up somewhere and he's like about ready to get out of his car like a badass. Hold on, Kung.
It's
Drops
this
the
bright
step stool
yellow step stool with the black treads.
It's a plastic piece of
Yeah.
shit.
I had one that I was using. It was like pink. It's like I don't know if it was like a Hello Kitty.
Get
step
like one of those
stool or
little
something.
toddler step stools where they have to step up on it so they can wash their hands in the bathroom sink. You just get one of those. It's like blue and red and yellow feet on it.
You know, the best thing about my Jeep though that I really miss is cleaning it was super easy. Just take it to the car wash and get the high pressure washer. And open up the door and just spray it down.
Dude, my car isn't going to be in need for a really bad bath.
Same.
Still gotta get the engine built.
Yeah, I know. I got to get push rods. That's all I'm waiting on.
So get them push rods. What are you waiting on?
It's a convenience thing. Like, they're not very expensive. They're only like $3 a piece. I need 16 of them. But it's like nowhere has 16. They have like 3 or 9 or 12 or 14. Nowhere has 16. I asked my dad, I'm like, you guys sell push rods? He's like, oh yeah, we sell some that fit your car. I'm like, oh cool, how much are they? It's like, well, they're $2 with my discount or something like that. And I'm like, oh cool, can you buy some? Oh, we don't have any.
We'll just have to order them.
I'm like, well, can you order them? Apparently that's one of the few parts they can't order. And I'm like, well, does anybody have some? He's like, Corden has 17. I'm like, okay, well, I'll go to Corden. He's like, well, they don't do drops to me. And I'm like, then I'll go to Corden. He's like, that's too far to drive. Just ask the people in Louisville. And I'm like, what? Why did you tell me that Corden had some?
I'd just go. I'd just be like, all right, see ya, make it a road trip.
It's not that far.
It's not that far,
It's
no.
only like,
That's
what,
where I'd had to
40
take my
minutes?
Jeep to get the tires rotated. And shit.
Yeah. It's only like 40 minutes, yeah.
40 minutes.
But by the time, knowing my luck, by the time I drove all the way up there, I would walk in the building and be like, hey, I'm looking for push rods for a 67 326 Pontiac engine. Be like, oh, we just sold the last ones.
That's
My
why
mama
you-
told me not to click links that people send me on the internet.
Corvette Street Machine. I guess we can close out the podcast looking at this. Oh boy. That's a very big turbo.
Wow.
What in the world?
Wow. Wow.
That's a turbo? Are you sure? Where they ripped that off of a fucking boat?
A jet.
Jet turbo.
I think I've actually seen that Corvette before. Not in person, but I think I've seen it.
You laugh, but the big Mercury motors are just Chevy big blocks.
Whoops. Jesus, look at that blow off. That is a big turbo. That is a very big turbo.
Pull it off turbo diesel.
That's not.
Look at that engine bay.
That's ridiculous. That has to be from either a semi truck or what are they called? An inboard motor on a boat.
Probably, but can you imagine how much it's throwing at that engine?
I don't know. Most of your boat motors aren't turbocharged.
I'm talking like the big boats.
So big turbo diesel, you could probably find.
Definitely going to utilize that parachute.
But yeah, I don't think they are. I don't think they are turbocharged now that you say it. But that's the only thing I can see that on is a boat or a big ass semi truck.
But on that pleasant note and that very large turbo, we are going to have to call it. We've been live for an hour and just shy of 5 minutes now, and everybody's hungry and thirsty, and we're going to go get some food. So thank you for everybody. This is like the largest crowd that we've had. Yeah, drag race against that would be awesome. This is the largest crowd we've had, so thanks for tuning in. It's always good to have new faces, and I'll probably be live again later with more than likely Nate, maybe Nick, depending on what we play, maybe Tyler, maybe some other people.
My phone smells funny.
Good
Cool.
job.
And we'll be playing some games later, and then we'll be back with the LAN Party next Tuesday. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you all next time.
See you.